Hello, my name is Marianne, and you're watching the slides of a small project, winemaking project that we've got in Germany. The slides are from a German pecha kucha night in Darmstadt at CoWo21, and I will try to give you an audio in English to these slides. The name of the project, Green Feather, comes from the very green feathers of our two parrots who enjoy coming along to the vineyard. But mainly the project is about a blog trying to write about our experiences in growing the grapes and turning the grapes into, at the moment, wine. So there are lots of pictures on the blogs, pictures that I'm taking from the vineyard, and even here it's kind of a balance. How one-sided are these pictures? Are you just showing the nice pictures that might appear in a nice country magazine, or do you find the balance by also showing the spraying of the vineyard? It's also about tasting, experimentation, and also more serious subjects such as managing the weeds. You know, when we order a glass of wine or a glass of beer, and we don't really ask how were the weeds managed in the plants that form the basis of the drink. And maybe once you've sort of dealt with that subject, maybe you think you should be asking that question in order to know what is in the wine that you're drinking. We are fairly new to this, so kind of the experts on the subjects are other people, and they give us praise, they critique what we're doing, and we are incredibly grateful for that. You can see now a few sort of impressions from the vineyard, what it looks like around us in Rheinhessen, south of Mainz in Germany. And instead of sort of giving you a massive amount of data about it, I was just going to set out a few of the motivations for the projects. And here in this picture, you can actually try and spot the caterpillars that we are trying to find in the vines and get rid of in a way that doesn't sort of damage our health. So unfortunately, these two are going to get squidged in a minute. So the motivations for these projects, blogging is kind of a big motivation. The idea is that we do read a lot in mass media that I also read online, and some of the subjects may not be right for each of us individually in the intensity that they're presented. So I think blogging to me is very much a way of trying to find on the internet the subjects that we individually are interested in, and can we actually find them through the search means that we have on the internet. And there are, I find, quite a lot of subjects that are worth blogging about. I mean, it's quite exciting in autumn when you're waiting for the fermentation to start. Is it going to start? Is it going to have problems? Or just the idea how ripe are the grapes? When is the right point in time to take them off? You know, we can take off a few grapes and measure them. Here in this slide you see the bubbles left at the top as they're starting, and you see our attempts to measure. But that measuring individual grapes doesn't sort of solve the puzzle of what you're going to have once you take the whole field off, and once you have them all squidged in your tank, which you can see here. So you see the individual grapes, very ripe ones, not so ripe ones, but in terms of what you're going to get from the full field is a different question entirely, and is for us still very much a lottery. The next point here, point number 2, says gaining an understanding. And for us, gaining an understanding goes way beyond our weekends in the vineyard. Once you stood sort of seeing the spraying machine chucking stuff out into the vineyard, then next time you go shopping, you go out for a meal, you buy your frozen pizza, you sort of think much more as to what happened to the plants that formed the basis of this food. And you can see us here applying manure to our vineyard, and some onlooker at the time said it looks like in the wild west. And I think that sort of brought us onto a path towards saying, I think we want to do this an organic way, bio, as they say in German. And it took us a very, very long time. It took us around 5 months. And you can see a newspaper article that appeared, and which sort of then brought us more publicity, and eventually someone offered us an organic vineyard to rent, and we are incredibly grateful for that. So it's been quite a journey, and it's amazing how long it takes, and how much persuasion it takes, and how much dialogue it takes. So with that sentence thrown at us, that in an organic vineyard it looks like in the wild, wild west, that sort of shows, I think, the need to challenge very long-held beliefs in the making business, and that's what we're trying to do. And it might sort of lead to very absurd situations. It might lead to incredibly informative and nice conversations that we are really, really grateful for. It's absolutely amazing to speak to people. They've got so much time for us, and we're just incredibly grateful for that. Taste is the last point here on the screen, and it's a big point. By the way, this is the picture where you do see the spraying machine doing bio spraying, so organic spraying in our vineyard. So, I mean, the person walking through the vineyards would not have any idea what is being sprayed. It could be conventional, it could be organic. So, and as for taste, we've got very old wines now, the new organic ones. And one I want to present to you, it's so big that it doesn't fit into picture. It's so long, it's incredible. We've called it Mr. Albert. And I want to close this talk with Mr. Albert, although if someone wants to adopt him and rename him Mrs. Albert, I'm quite fine with that. So here is my attempt of putting Mr. Albert into one picture. And I mean, there's lots more I could tell you, so feel free to comment or send emails or ask questions. And hopefully we can, you can sample some of the stuff of what we're making, and or just see our efforts in the vineyard. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.